What if you really like Star Wars, but cool minifigures are only found in expensive sets? Of course, assemble them yourself from the parts that you have. And now I will show a few examples and give a couple of tips for assembling them. With you as always, Papa Lego. Let's go! One of the most famous characters in this iconic universe is Admiral Ackbar. I really like this character in the movie. Lego really did a great job from him. Nice prints and detail. And of course I found uses for it in my fantasy world, but today I assembled a minifigure, the Underwater Lord from the Admiral, the Commander-in-Chief of the Mon Calamari Army. However, if in the film it was always a positive character, then I decided to dream up a little and collect the leader of the ancient cult. They have their own radical philosophy, the purpose of which is to establish their own order on their home planet Dak, and bring back to life the ancient god Dakta, the huge and deadly Black Kraken. In my opinion, Mon Calamari minifigures are some of the most versatile Star Wars minifigures out there. They have non-standard but very interesting heads. They can be adapted to a wide variety of themes, both fantasy and alien invasion, where humans would fight alien invaders. At the same time, the figure of Admiral Ackbar is quite cheap compared to other famous Star Wars characters. And when making customizations on such a popular topic, I could not ignore the character of one of the most famous fan theories. A very long time ago, I heard the suggestion that the Master Sith of the entire Star Wars universe is Jar Jar Binks. Yes, if you have not heard about this, then be sure to look at the analysis of this version on the internet. There really are a lot of convincing arguments, and even George Lucas himself does not deny the possibility of its veracity. Taking the head from this character, which was sent to me by one of the subscribers, I picked up a suitable torso and a black cape for her. Considering that many Jedi and Sith walked around in some kind of rags, they can easily be assembled from Ninjaga minifigures. A black cloak can be completely cut out of any unnecessary fabric. So Jedi and Sith are some of the easiest characters you can build from Lego. But for the next character, I used the head from an already existing character in the Star Wars universe. During the Old Republic, this member of the royal family from the planet Geonosis, wanting to inherit the throne, killed his own brother. However, his crime was revealed, and as punishment, the royal court ordered to cut off his wings and banish him from his home planet forever. But this did not break him, but only strengthened his desire for power and the dark side. Taking on the new name Darth Sirius, he joined the ranks of the Sith, intending to one day regain the throne of Geonosis. The armor from General Zod from the Superman sets is ideal for such a character. And as a base you can use any black torso, and of course a red lightsaber. Well, since in the days of the Old Republic there were no familiar droids yet, I decided to borrow robots from the Hero Factory series. There were many of these minifigures in different colors in the sets of this series. However, it is best of course to use silver-colored droids. Against the background of the black clothes of the Sith, they look the most harmonious and also more realistic. For more intimidation, I replaced their heads with red parts. Another bonus of these minifigures is the ability to attach additional accessories to the legs and arms. In this way, you can assemble jet boosters for legs or hang an auxiliary laptop on your arm. So with virtually none of the Star Wars parts, you can assemble your own squad or even an army. Thinking about what kind of custom Jedi could be built from Lego, I decided to go a little further and make something like Space Marines. According to all the canons, the leader of the assault squad must have a melee weapon. And to be honest, I don't remember where I got this huge sword from, maybe even from the Chima series, but it looks very futuristic. For the base of the minifigure itself, I used the body from the Gravizin from Marvel figures, and I chose this head because of the cool prints of red stripes and silver shadows above the eyes. The shoulder pads of course should be huge, just like those of real Space Marines, and behind the back one can see a long blue cloak. To be honest, before I didn't even know that raincoats of this color are in Lego. However, if there is a squad leader, then there must be a squad itself. I decided to go with blue as the base because I had a lot of great space-themed helmets. Such armors are quite common at various flea markets. Most of them were in sets of the Hero Factory series, and even now they are quite cheap. And helmets of this color can even now be found in Pick-a-Brick on the official Lego website. Given that the shoulder pads cover most of the body, the torsos can be used from any minifigure as long as they match in color with the rest of the details. Absolutely any blasters are suitable for weapons, and I decided to use the head from a robot, thereby assembling my squad from half people, half cyborgs. Just like the head of the second Space Marine, I borrowed it from the Zane minifigure from the Ninjaga sets. Indeed, for space battles, ordinary human capabilities will not be enough, especially when you are confronted by a variety of aliens, robots, and creatures from all over the galaxy. I really like the blaster of this soldier. It is very difficult to find it now, and if I'm not mistaken, the Kryptonians had this blaster in their Superman kit. Otherwise, all the parts that are used here are very cheap and quite common. Therefore, to collect a whole whole squad of such space marines will not cause difficulties. As an example, I'll show you how I made the third warrior from a J minifigure taken from a recent Ninjaga set. Adding even an ordinary head, a helmet with protective glass and 2 blasters from Star-Lord, I got an equally cool space warrior, in no way inferior to stormtroopers and clones from standard Star Wars sets. Together we have a formidable squad capable of performing the most complex tasks of law enforcement, protecting colonies on distant frontiers from space pirates and capturing important bases and secret objects. But sometimes you need to make peaceful exploration missions to develop new mineral deposits or study new terrain and life on uncharted planets. Here the brightest minds of the Stellar Republic come to the rescue, scientists and researchers. One of them is another member of my favorite Mon Calamari race, Admiral Raddus. However, here he changed the Admiral's tunic for a microscope and test tubes. Parts from the standard Star Wars sets in the colors of the previous minifigures look great as a base. Well, for more entourage, I added an oxygen ballon from Lego City Divers. In a similar way, I assembled the second scientist. True, here I already used the body and legs from one of the Mandalorians on which the battle pack was released relatively recently, as well as a computer from a Grey Vision from Marvel minifigures and a head from a scientist from the Jurassic World sets. Together they are pioneers helping to expand the Republic's borders peacefully. But among space-themed characters, bounty hunters are especially popular. What is Boba Fett alone worth? So I could not ignore the representatives of this cast and gathered my own bounty hunters. The first hero hails from the desert planet Tatooine. It is given out by a large number of auxiliary breathing devices taken from the same divers and firefighters, as well as a wide cone-shaped hat protecting the hero in the desert from the constantly scorching sun. Well, to hide among the sand dunes, I used brown details from one of the Mandalorians as well as a long cloak of the same color scheme. The absence of high mountains and other obstacles allows the use of long-range weapons such as a long laser rifle. And of course binoculars will come in handy to look out for bandits and pirates on the horizon, where without it. By the way, you can see a tutorial on assembling a rifle and many other useful ideas in one of my past videos, a link to which I will leave in a hint. But this hero is more like a pirate himself than a bounty hunter, because here I used a lot of dark gray details. Space Marine type armor is all from the same robots from the Hero Factory series, as well as a torso with prints of various repulsors on the arms and parts from the Star-Lord from Marvel minifigure. To make the character more entourage, I chose the head with a tattoo print on the face. You can find it in the new sets of Jurassic World. Well, a blaster from General Zod from the Superman set. Now in the world of space battles there are both positive and negative characters. However, someone is still missing. I really wanted to assemble some kind of admiral or ship captain from the parts that I have, but what I got is more like a ship's cook. I guess it's because I used the chef's hat from the minifigure series. But now I can be sure that my heroes will always be fed a hot meal even on the most distant journeys. True, I have never seen chefs on starships in a Star Wars movie. I wonder what the characters in the movie eat. Well, you can see even more customizations in other videos on my channel as well as on Instagram using the links in the description. With you as always was Papa Lego, for all you cool minifigs, and I'm not saying goodbye.